And we are live. What's going on in the world today? This is some rapid fire Q&A. We'll go for about 20 minutes or so, give or take. I've got a few things I want to talk to you about. NAC. A lot of people are asking what supplements have promise, which work well for some individuals. And NAC comes to mind, NAC, N-acetyl-L-cysteine. Hasn't done too much for me personally, but what you may expect, what you may be able to get out of it is, say if you have like bad OCD-like behavior, even bad patterns of thinking, some do actually report pretty good benefits with this, even with reducing instances of binge eating. So that's pretty neat. What else I got for you? This is very often discussed, 5-HTP. To give you an idea as far as what I think of it, every time I have this product, it's just sitting on the shelf. I'll take it maybe twice a month because it's think of it like a bandage to your problems. You get this artificial mood boost, which is not really going to help you long term. I'd much rather rely on having a good mindset and building thick skin. Does it have its purpose? There's some science showing that if you do take it consistently, like every day for a really long time, that it can do something. But as far as replacing it with an antidepressant, don't think it's a good idea. What's up, guys? Let me know who's up in here. This is the current pre-workout product that I'm taking. Somebody asked yesterday what pre-workout would I recommend if that's stimulant-free. One sec, I'm gonna get a little bit comfortable here. Stimulant-free pre-workouts. I would just go for the good ingredients which are promised to help you with recovery, help you with your workout. So what comes to mind is L-tyrosine, of course, which is going to energize you. Beta-alanine, citrulline malate, arguably arginine. And they've got a bunch of like those ingredients here, which are at the right doses. So be sure to just stock up on those ingredients. As far as like nootropics, if you're looking really for focus in a pre-workout, you could add some rhodiola rosea. I don't like going too heavy on nootropics, things like ashwagandha, L-theanine, because they can calm you down a little bit. So this is a good product. My only critique with it is that it could contain some vitamin B. I'm really surprised they didn't add like B12 or some niacin. But if you're looking to get in shape, really good product. It has good doses. Again, it even has some BCAAs and it's got its taurine. But another good pre-workout, which can do the job, is Engine, which I've been using this for 4 or 5 years, just on and off. And I like the fact that they have various forms of caffeine, and they also have AlphaGPC and huperzine A. So pretty cool. Oh, they've got L-dopa as well. If you're looking to lose fat, I find it's pretty easy to get like shredded with this product. What's up, Shivam? Hey, you know any supplements for electromagnetic field protection? Oh my gosh, is there such thing? I don't know about that. I apologize. It's not often asked about multivitamin. This is the one that I'm currently taking. This is a True Hope Empower Plus. It's horribly expensive, but it's specifically designed for people that have some sort of psych history, you can say, episodes of depression, seasonal affective disorder, even highs in mood. And they're so strict with this product that once you order it, they call you and ask you whether or not you're taking any prescriptions, because there can be interactions. They've even got choline bitartrate, L-glutamine, yeah, a bunch of good stuff up in here. And what kind of questions do we have on this channel? But otherwise, just follow up to yesterday's discussion. And modafinil, a lot of people are experiencing brain fog with that. Phenylparastam, adding a little bit with it sometime in the morning, seems to somehow combat that, because with phenol, it works in the later portion of the day, whereas with modafinil, it seems to work like for 4 to 6 hours. For most people, some people 8-10 hours, depends who. It's Jonathan says, what was that supplement called? This is called True Hope. Got a nice name, True Hope Empower Plus. It's actually really well known. There's a lot of research shown on this particular product. And one thing I do notice is my sleep is a lot better when I'm taking it. So I'm pro True Hope. How do I boost my height? Jeez. Nothing comes to mind, but perhaps you can look into Cissus. If there's this one supplement called Cissus, and it does some really interesting things with joints. It's called CIS, hold on, I'll put it, CISSUS. This is purely just a guess though, because this is one supplement that they found, like after breaking a bone, like you break your leg, this product has been proven in some studies to actually help with bone repair. So it can do some pretty interesting things. I don't really think ashwagandha, L-theanine, any of the nootropics that are often discussed are going to help you increase your height. Maybe try stretching. Also depends how old you are. I don't know if that was a sarcastic question, but I appreciate it. How long does Bacopa take to start working? Takes about 2 weeks for most people, maybe 3 weeks. Well, you can notice, for me personally, I get a subtle effect from Bacopa. Immediately when I take it, I feel a little bit more present, feel almost like robotic just for a few minutes, which is a good sign that the stuff is working. Maybe slight appetite suppression, and I get a little bit stimulated in like a weird way to the point that I would not use Bacopa just before bed. When you said Tomcat Alley increases libido, it doesn't mean it can make you horny. Yes, that is kind of how you define libido. Let me see if I can get a definition of it. Define libido, sexual desire. That's what it means. So that was exactly what I meant. And there's studies which are showing that too. I think with zinc, magnesium as well, it's pretty common. When I take Armoda 150 milligrams, I always become unproductive. It could, it could just be such that it's uncomfortably raising your heart rate, which happens with modafinil as well. You do have to get it right. If that's happened more than once, then I would question, why are you taking it? Try a lower dose, if anything. With armodafinil, I find it more effective if you're sleep deprived versus modafinil. Modafinil, better for focus, productivity, getting stuff done. Not as effective if you're sleep deprived. Whereas with armodafinil, it's almost as such you can, not that I'm advising anyone to do this, consistently sleep 5 to 6 hours a day, use some armodafinil, and you're somehow able to manage with it. It's pretty damn interesting. But I have found that with modafinil, my heart rate can get uncomfortably high to the point that I just cannot focus on work. And we got 12 people here. Don't mind giving it a thumbs up, because we can get some other people up in here, because this YouTube algorithm is horribly confusing. Glutamine and AlphaGPC will increase growth hormone, right? Question mark. In theory, although the significance in which it increases your growth hormone, I would guess, is like negligible. It's just is any supplement which is going to somehow, in some way increase your growth hormone levels, like automatically becomes so hyped up and so much more popular, especially for marketers. With AlphaGPC, there's a bit more promise. With glutamine itself, there's some studies, I mentioned this yesterday, there's some studies showing if you take like 2 grams right before bed, it can increase your growth hormone levels. But almost like similar to the conversation of testosterone, it's not enough to make any sort of difference if you're expecting to like lose fat, get a 6-pack, build more muscle. I highly doubt it. Nothing wrong with trying though. AlphaGPC is some really good stuff. Definitely better mood, and I'm sharper while on it. Glutamine and can I take Tomcat Alley with racetams and other nootropics? Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Tomcat Alley, because it's not stimulating, and I would like to think there's a few different kinds of nootropics. There's amino acids, right? There's racetams, there's adaptogens, and then there's stimulants. All of which, do look at them in the grand scheme of things. As long as you're not mixing a lot of stimulants together, then you should be okay. So I have taken my normal nootropic, you could say, stack, and have added Tomcat Alley once in the morning, and everything seems good. Everything's good. Extra libido, maybe extra energy, definitely better workouts and better results, right? Hey, Mike, what's your current L-tyrosine routine? I only use it once in the morning pretty much. So prior to working out, I'll take about 1 gram of L-tyrosine or 1.5 grams. And that's the one product you just cannot argue with. Like, this is a good, these are 2 of the most highest rated pre-workouts on bodybuilding.com, of which both have L-tyrosine. This has N-acetyl L-tyrosine, which is silly, but this one, they've not disclosed how much L-tyrosine. So I would highly recommend it, especially with caffeine. They work together like magic. It's some good stuff. And then perhaps in the later portion of the day when I need a little bit of a pick-me-up, L-tyrosine is good. Where it's a good tool is specifically for those instances when you want to be energized in the later portion of the day, but you know that caffeine is going to obviously interfere with your sleep. So like, 6, 7 o'clock, if you still have work to do, you need to pick me up. That's where L-tyrosine, just 500 milligrams or 750 milligrams, seems to work really well. And I'll sometimes use it there, but I have found with L-tyrosine, it's not as such that you get a crash, but there's a little bit of irritability during the come off. Let me know if that's your experience as well for the viewers. If you experience that with L-tyrosine, a lot of people disagree that it does, that you feel a crash. I wouldn't really call it a crash though. Is Giraffe, hey, what's up, man? Thanks for all the info you put out there. I've recently dived into nootropics. Very interesting. Good stuff, all knowing, and I'm glad you came across the channel. Let me know if there's anything you'd like me to review on a future video. Is Giraffenil exactly the same as modafinil? User 45, no, they work pretty much in the same pathways, you can say. What so is there's a ratio you should be mindful of. They say, in theory, 300 milligrams is equivalent, 300 milligrams of Giraffenil, excuse me, is equivalent to 100 milligrams of, 300 milligrams of Giraffenil is equivalent to 100 milligrams of modafinil. So usually if you were to find Giraffenil, it will be in those 300 milligram capsules, or you can get the powder form. It tastes pretty bad. What so is slightly increased mood, slightly increased focus. You can definitely tell something's working, but you're very irritable when you take Giraffenil, and for that reason, I have not touched Giraffenil probably for a year, and I have the stuff sitting at home. Whereas with modafinil, more focus, better mood uplift. You don't get the same irritability, although with modafinil, you do have a little bit of a calm down anyway. Hey, Mike, have you noticed any anger with Tomcat Alley? Only on the times, Mr. Fallon's Fox, when I've taken it fasted, then I definitely did feel the discomfort, the irritability. So fortunately now I've found that mixing it with my pre-workout seems to work really well, and I'm more mindful of it. No, if it could just be such that I think while taking ashwagandha could mask any sort of anger that I would get. It's like ashwagandha is so calming that I've noticed every time I take it out of my stack, definitely a little bit more irritable, a little bit more edgy, likely to get hangry, etc. With ashwagandha, it's just cool in that once it's nicely in your system, you're taking like a gram a day, you can notice an extra dose of ashwagandha can really get you in this like flow, calm state, and it's pretty damn cool. Your thoughts on Multivitamin? I've tried it for a good bottle of it. It didn't do anything for me. Supposedly, there's some research and some promise showing that it can be good for regulating your mood. Did L-theanine work on everyone or some people according to their genes? Actually, that's kind of the question for everyone. I'm trying to put together some sort of content or information where I can look at a nootropic and say, okay, this works for 70% of people and 30% of people don't notice anything from it. Because if there's one thing I've learned from the comments and reading through all the YouTube comments is, it's very clear, like there's nootropics which don't work for some people and they work amazingly for some other people, right? So if something isn't working, the best thing you can do is obviously try a different brand, or you can change the dosage or the dosage protocol and then see how things go from there. But L-theanine is pretty common. That one, I find like 60 to 70% of people notice it working for the most part. If anything, take it fasted, see how you respond. You should feel like slightly calmer, and it's more, I would say you can observe, you can tell it's working more so when you're taking caffeine. You'll feel less jitters. You'll feel like less of a crash almost to some extent. Is there a difference between CDP choline and AlphaGPC effects? AlphaGPC I personally find stronger. There's some talk about there being given, basically saying that AlphaGPC may be better physically, whereas CDP choline is better mentally. I found it such, it was like, first I tried choline bitartrate, like most people. It's the inexpensive form of choline, doesn't do anything. No matter how much you take, I think it's just a waste of money. And there was a time when supplement companies were giving away choline bitartrate for free. No exaggeration. You would order a pre-workout product or a nootropic, and they would just throw in a bottle of choline bitartrate. I didn't do much, but then I shifted to CDP choline, better results, and then I shifted to AlphaGPC and much better results. So I personally really like it, but it's really cool that particular nootropic blends, they're actually mixing both CDP choline and AlphaGPC. Like if you look at Qualia Mind, which is one of the more known nootropic blends out there, they've got both. I do have some CDP choline that I've been playing with, so I'll be mindful of that. But no, I haven't really noticed anything too differently, right? Is LTyrosine addictive? No, not really. Not like modafinil, not like nicotine. If anything, like the focus is good, and even if you do get addicted, I wouldn't think it's that bad. It's an amino acid, guys. This is something found in like chicken breast. It's found in egg whites, like I mentioned on my video, even turkey. Are there nootropics that you find to stabilize your mood? Yes, there's look for nootropics that can help with mood regulation. Like L-Dopa is a pretty common one. You could even try supplementing. If you supplement with the stuff in cocoa, like in chocolate, dark chocolate, theobromine, that could be some good stuff. I think they actually have stuff here as well. And if you're eating throughout the day and you're not intermittent fasting, I would really recommend you take some supplements that will help you to keep stable insulin levels. So maybe a couple of shots of apple cider vinegar, take some chromium. And that's pretty much what is going to help. Because when you say stabilize your mood, it depends if you're talking about ups, highs and lows throughout the day, or you're talking about highs and lows that you experience from like week to week. Is it okay to take Bacopa with Concerta? Yeah, I don't see what's wrong with that. When it comes to mixing things, I mean, really get to know each nootropic well first. So try your Bacopa, see how you respond. Try your Concerta, see how you respond. Obviously, the lower the dose, the better. If it were such that Bacopa was only good with helping you with stress and stress resilience, then I would say there's no point. But because Bacopa has such good benefits across memory, that actually isn't a bad snack in my opinion. Just Concerta, horribly strong. I wouldn't recommend anybody take Concerta just for the nootropic benefit, because once you go through the withdrawals, you'll know what I'm talking about. I took Concerta off and on twice, but very effective stuff. You want to talk about getting out of a slump? Not only did it help me with school, when I was prescribed it, because my doc thought I had ADHD and it really helped, but as well just in the context of sales, I was taking Concerta once a day, I think 27 milligrams, and wow, I was just so eager to make my phone calls, go meet people in person. You kind of are more open-minded, less looking at risks and stuff. So it's damn effective. But the come down is pretty damn strong, to the point like you're oversleeping, you're not social, what you would expect for the most part. All knowing, can you recommend an aniracetam stack? Perhaps if you tell me more about yourself, right? Hey, Michael, thank you for introducing Lion's Mane. I stack it with phenylpiracetam. Okay, nice. That's some good stuff. That's a good stack. Is 500 milligrams L-tyrosine a day enough? Heck, it depends what you're using it for. If the L-tyrosine at 500 milligrams, firstly, for me, I can notice it working, whereas some people need 750 milligrams to a gram. I use it more for the subtle effect. So it depends, Peck, what you're using it for. You're welcome to ask about, tell me a bit more about yourself. Do I like alpha Yohimbine, or what is alpha Yohimbine? Oh, okay, Yohimbine. Oh, you said or. Yohimbine, yes, but I found that since I've been taking more nootropics, my body doesn't like it so much. Specifically, taking Wellbutrin. It's kind of like a light antidepressant, you can say. And that's one interaction which I could not tolerate. So where I like Yohimbine, it can elicit a nice euphoria if one is to take it with caffeine. Like you pair caffeine, L-tyrosine, and a little bit of Yohimbine. Really just be mindful of the dosage of Yohimbine. A lot of people go horribly wrong, and you can feel energized, you can feel euphoric. Works especially well when you're fasted. There's a lot of data out there, and pretty much they can conclude that Yohimbine is pretty much useless unless you take it in a fasted state. I mean, ideally when you wake up in the morning, drink some water perhaps, or like 3 to 4 hours after your last meal. Where Yohimbine is useful, not so much in the nootropic context, but if you're like preparing for a bodybuilding show or something, you're trying to get, you're trying to get really shredded. Yohimbine can essentially put more blood flow into your stubborn body fat. Like for men, that's typically lower back, sometimes thighs. For females, it's thighs and like triceps, right? So the promise of Yohimbine, you take a little bit of it, then you go run afterwards, like half an hour afterwards, and you're able to more easily access those fat stores and get them out into the bloodstream. So it's pretty damn cool. There's nothing really like it. Have you tried Focalin or Ritalin? How do they compare to modafinil in cognition or side effects? Focalin, I'm just going to look that one up because I'm not sure. Maybe a different name. I've not tried this one. I'd be curious to know what it is. Maybe it's, yeah, not. But yeah, I have tried Ritalin. I tried that before Concerta. I know it's similar to how I described Concerta. Mood boost, you can tell. Focus, it's kind of there, but it's short lasting. I don't like Ritalin that much because, again, it's short lasting, but it's much more safer than Concerta, being appropriate so that you all know as far as what to expect with withdrawals. How does it compare to modafinil? Modafinil lasts for a much longer time, whereas with Ritalin, short lasting, 3 to 4 hours. But cognition wise, I would say they're pretty similar because they are very mild. What's the deal with your face? Above your eyebrows, the lines are way too prominent. Maybe I'm getting old, man. I don't know. Give me some growth hormone. Those lines that form when you raise your eyebrows age you by 10 years. You look about 38. That's funny. I love that. Did ashwagandha produce heat in the body? Because whenever I take it, I get ulcer most of the time. That's a good question. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me because with ashwagandha, it can increase your thyroid to levels that aren't natural. I'd be mindful of it if you're somebody who does have a high thyroid already. And okay, I thought Annie Babe was being real, but now I'm just seeing there's more hate comments. So I'm gonna skip down there. Is ashwagandha and 5-HTP? Guys, don't mind if you have a question, just put a question mark at the end. It makes it a lot easier just to scan through and we can make this better for everyone. Don't mind giving this thing a thumbs up. We can get some more people up in here. We'll go for 5-10 more minutes. Okay, Chetan, sorry, I skipped a bunch of questions. I'm just trying to find this. Where did we last leave off? Ashwagandha, nootropics to make through working 5 hours at restaurant and what to take after that. I mean, take something in the middle versus taking something in the beginning, or take something at both times, because the hours 1, 2, and 3 will be pretty easy, but it's 4 and 5 which will be tough. So is like at the 3-hour mark, I would take your nootropics then, take some L-Tyrosine, take some rhodiola rosea. I wouldn't really take Bacopa because it's work ethic that you're looking for. Drink a whole lot of water. What else can help? A lot of L-Tyrosine, a lot of rhodiola rosea. It just depends on you and what you've tried and what you've responded to, because Noopep could probably work well as well. That's one of those which you can take, at the beginning as well as 3 hours in. Well, do you think that stacks well? Do you think theanine, caffeine, Noopep stack well? Yeah, I think they do. The caffeine is going to obviously overpower everything though. Piracetam with lion's mane and AlphaGPC works great. Respect for piracetam has gone higher. Everybody's missing piracetam now that it's gone. I have Alzheimer's in my family. What to take to avoid it? Oh, that's really cool. Well, Alzheimer's is one of the things which has the most research behind it. In fact, most of the racetams, ginkgo biloba, anything which is supposedly going to help you with dementia, Alzheimer's, look that up, because you can go on examine.com and just look up Alzheimer's. They will give you a bunch of nootropics right there. Most importantly, though, outside of nootropics, you probably won't want to hear this. Just keep the mind active. Don't retire. Get into some high-stress work like selling real estate or having responsibility where you can, always expect a client to call you, right? And you're forced to kind of be a more sharper version of yourself. That's really interesting that it's in your family. Speak to your doctor about that. I'd be curious to know what they say. Is ashwagandha and 5-8. Oh, and I forgot to mention, make sure you exercise. That's a big one. Helps with insulin sensitivity, helps to prevent type 2 diabetes. Lots of benefits. Is ashwagandha and 5-HTP okay to take together? That's a good question. Yeah, I would think so. I would think with 5-HTP, you'll get that mood boost. You'll really be calmer if you are to take them together. What should I try if the racetams didn't work for me? Well, if the racetams didn't work, you probably aren't in a good position to try something like Noopep, but go in the direction of try some stimulants, try some caffeine, L-theanine, look at and I'd be curious to know, Ayush, which racetams that you tried, because Noopep is strong compared to the other ones. It's more stimulating, you'll find, and it does fall into that category of racetams. You can take a look at the adaptogens and see how you like them too. Lion's mane versus krill oil, which is better? Ooh, that's a tough question because they're so different. Depends who's taking them. I mean, if you take everybody, right? Maybe krill oil because they're getting their EPA and DHA. Not everybody needs lion's mane. It's just people like ourselves who are looking for some sort of cognitive edge. What's cool though, lion's mane, I found a study and it showed that yes, it decreased irritability, it decreased anxiety, but it also decreased concentration. Wow. So that's 2 benefits, but 1 you can say down. Actually, and it doesn't surprise a lot of us, as with lion's mane, you can find that it's not really something which is going to help you focus much better. We have a mate. I'm back. He should start an OnlyFans site. He will definitely earn a lot more. Thanks for looking out for me. And I really had an issue with alcohol, rebuilding my body and health now, and need something to help me get motivated. Any suggestions? Synergy, anything which is going to help you exercise, really, right? Like I've mentioned, a couple pre-workouts, and get your diet right. Whatever, just baby steps, look in the right direction. By the end of the day, make it your mission to make things a tiny bit better than they were in the morning. Synergy, you're welcome to just message me or respond to one of my comments. I would love to help you through that a little bit. Alpha Yohimbine, the same thing. Yeah, makes sense. Owen Wu, shoot, I just lost the comment. Okay, there we go. Fallon's Fox, Annie Babe. Yahush, what do you recommend for most permanent change in your life or initiating change? There's a video which I made called Two Nootropics to get, or Two Nootropics to get you out of a slump, or something along the lines of that. Check out that video. I don't want to spoil it for you, because if I tell you which two they are, then you may not watch them, but I want you to watch that video. What about Adderall? Parith, what about Adderall? If you just want know my thoughts on it, I've never tried it, which may surprise people. What you can expect, similar to Concerta Ritalin, really good mood, really good focus, no desire to eat or do anything social. You're wanting to be productive. You're horribly risk-taking, and a lot of people do report really bad come-downs with it, which is why I've not tried it. I really had. Does modafinil have bad come-downs and withdrawals like Concerta? No, which is one of the reasons why I think modafinil is so popular, especially in the nootropic scene, is because with Concerta, you get the come-downs. It's very clear that it's like a stimulant. It's artificially making you so energized, whereas with modafinil, almost just makes you more awake, feels smoother, feels almost healthier. I hate to say it. Can you please suggest me when is the best time for taking modafinil and how much? If it were me, I would be taking it in the morning pretty much, within the first couple hours of waking up. The most important question is, why do nootropic brands and batches differ from each other so much? I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, if you grow something in Canada, it'll be different than growing it in India, right? If best for initiating testosterone and healthy cravings. Initiating testosterone and healthy cravings. Don't know what you mean by that. Hey Mike, do you ever get paranoid after taking modafinil? Yeah, I mentioned earlier, like, your heart can get uncomfortably high, and your anxiety can spike up in specific scenarios. And it's no surprise, there's a graph out there which I've shown in some of my videos, which shows like nootropics that may help you with anxiety or increase your anxiety, and modafinil fell more under that umbrella of nootropics that are gonna make you more anxious. So it may happen, and I've not found a way to get out of that state. I've tried mixing phenibut with it, but phenibut, because that increases your heart rate as well, they don't really seem to work too well with each other. So the best thing you can do is just honestly wait for it to pass, because Fallon's Fox, like I mentioned, it's really inconsistent. I meant like brainless waiter type work at a restaurant. User 45, then the answer would be pramiracetam for sure. Is there any way you can kick Annie Bay? No, I think he's gone. Oh no, it's okay. It's okay. I don't want to. I've learned that when I kick somebody out of this thing, it just bans them forever. I don't think he deserves to be banned. Maybe he's intoxicated. Hide user on this. Okay, let's see. Hopefully I remember to bring him back and get him unblocked on the channel. Don't want to do that to anyone. Sorry, Annie Baby, if you're still watching this, I apologize. Is there any way you can? Okay. Rhodiola and resveratrol in place of racetams. Not sure what the question is. Resveratrol, I haven't noticed much from taking it personally. It's often in testosterone blends, and is one of those known supplements to help with anti-aging. Have you done a video on kratom? Have you tried it? Nope, I have not made a video, but I've tried it a couple times, and then I read enough bad things on it to convince me to throw it out. What is the best for business school students? I just ordered a caffeine and L-theanine stack. Oh, that's a good question, because I was studying business and I was exposed to nootropics. Racetams help me. Caffeine pills help me. I don't even know if it was racetam. I think it was paracetam, taking choline, and then I discovered Concerta, which really helped me, but would not recommend that. Watch the video I've made on nootropics for studying. They kind of cover studying, decision making, importing things to your long-term memory, all that good stuff. Is it important to sleep for more than 6 hours when you're on nootropics? It's almost the opposite. It's like you can get away with sleeping 6 hours. You can get away with sleeping less when you're on nootropics, kind of thing. So the answer is that there is no answer. Just be mindful. Like, listen to your body. If your body's really tired, there's nothing wrong with catching up on sleep and whatever. Going a few days of sleeping more than usual. The difference. Where I've tried aniracetam, I didn't notice any benefits. Yeah, Ayush, are you taking anything else, anything stronger, which could be overpowering it? Peck says, Peck gave a stack to learn an instrument, to which you would probably go back to that other video, which I just mentioned, nootropics for studying. But they asked about CDP, 250 milligrams, Bacopa, ashwagandha, paracetam, L-tyrosine. Yeah, that looks good. And then with learning an instrument or even learning a language, I think the thing most people underestimate or don't look at is it's boring. It takes an extra bit of motivation. That's where the piracetam is going to be very helpful. Maybe even some pramiracetam, maybe some Nupep to help you get through the day. Any good nootropics in India? I need to really cover that because it's often asked. So maybe once whatever the world is going on with, I shall make a trip out to India and see what nootropics we have in store. Because, okay, will eating meat hinder creatine supplementation? No, not that I know of. Lee Adama, have you tried PRL 853? Yes, thanks for reminding me. I actually do have the bottle. I've tried it maybe six or seven times. I didn't notice much from it, so for that reason, I did not try it again. Do you agree that NALT is useless because of its bioavailability? I noticed nothing from it compared to L-tyrosine. Thank you for that, Tom, because I did make a video on L-tyrosine versus N-acetyl L-tyrosine. L-tyrosine works more effectively. It works for a longer period of time. I would not call NALT useless. There are some studies showing that it can be a little bit better for mood depending on who you are and may have more of a long-term effect if you take it day after day. Hey, thanks for responding. I'm eating better. I just want something to boost me, maybe just focusing on my health and not looking to nootropics. Yeah, Synergy, I mean, the best order of things, like look at your diet first, then exercise, look at your hydration, sleep, and then beyond that, when you want that extra edge, then look at nootropics. However, nootropics may actually help you to want to do everything else. For example, if it's such that you take your nootropics and you become a more disciplined person, then you'll be more inclined to want to make modifications in your lifestyle, diet, exercise, etc. Right? Not a nootropics question, but how would you invest $20,000 to maximize your chances of doubling your money? I'd probably ask a couple of friends of mine who are really good with stocks and take their advice and just put it in a bunch of different places, or to maximize your chances. If you say, I mean, that assumes that there's, we're just looking at gain and not loss, maybe investing in some sort of startup. I just took a look at anything for a good euphoric feeling without, for a salesman working with customers all day long. Yeah, that was actually what I used Yohimbine for. I will admit, I had a really good month of sales when I was taking Yohimbine and caffeine first thing in the morning. But caffeine, yeah, I just timed that right. Nothing wrong with taking like a big dose, 250 milligrams to 300 milligrams, and just expect 3 hours of really good focus followed by a really bad crash. As long as you know the crash is there, it could be worth it. Does CDP choline really work for 2 days? No. I hear that every here and there. It's a little bit surprising. Parth, hey there, Leah. I take Adderall. No. I see a lot of people in the chat asking about kratom. Yes, that is very true. What's a good alternative to Adderall? Other than modafinil, can't think of anything besides like Nupep and L-tyrosine, taking that a few times a day. And when you're, saturated with all the racetams that I talk about, you kind of feel that Adderall-like concentration to a lesser extent. Plus, you get memory boost, whereas with Adderall, you don't really get that. Do I need to take AlphaGPC with phenylpiracetam? Not necessarily. AlphaGPC is just good to have with anything, depending on how much cognitive energy you're expending throughout the whole day. And what if something goes wrong in body, brain? Well, don't blame me. Nothing's really gone wrong with me. People ask me about my worst experience with nootropics. I did not really have one. Does L-tyrosine make sense when you're already eating a lot of chicken and eggs in a high protein diet? Yes, because the magic happens when you take it by itself. And can you talk about the bad use of modafinil? Already done that in a few videos. And guys, I got to hop off this, but tomorrow I should have a new video out there. And hope you all found this helpful. Be sure to keep on sharing my channel. I appreciate you guys more than you know. Keep commenting on the videos. Give it a like because it gives me energy to produce more great content for you. Take care, guys. Cheers.